What up, what up, what up, what up? This is your boy Boat, and we are officially back. Season 4 is underway. I am Tugboat, your host,
This your girl, Key Marie.
and today we are chilling with Mr. Jay Hill of Charlotte. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How you doing? Hey,
Hey.
beautiful. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice
Thank
to
you
see
for
you
taking the
again.
time out.
Oh
Seriously.
no, I thank y'all for having me. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. I've been waiting for this for a minute.
Oh, for a hot minute.
Yeah.
We've had to, you know what I'm saying, reschedule because it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to get in touch with Mr. J Hill.
You know what? My bad. I think
He's
my
moving and
bad.
shaking.
I ain't mean to throw
Okay.
the schedule off. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
you
But I'm
know.
here today. You
Oh,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
fine.
I
You're
appreciate
fine.
y'all patience.
So, Mr. Hill, us on the set know exactly who you are, but for those that don't, just dive in a little bit to about who you are and what makes Mr. Hill Mr. Hill.
So I'm Jay Hill, CEO of the Brain You Script Agency. I'm a Charlotte native, born and raised on West Boulevard, West Bully.
Okay.
But yeah,
Represent.
born and raised on West Boulevard. My family's been here like over 100 years or more. I can trace my dad's history back to slavery on my dad's side. West Boulevard corridor, Wilkinson Boulevard, all of that area. My parents still own the home that my dad grew up in. So Jay Hill, I'm the CEO of the Brain Script Agency, which is a public relations digital advertising agency. I grew up walking from Behringer Woods, which is across from the Stratford Y on West Boulevard, to Reed's Barbershop. And when I was there, on Saturday mornings when I had hair. I got a fresh bald in there, but when I had hair, I used to get lost in reading the Source magazine and Double XL magazines, Vibe magazine, and I never knew what my connection was to that. But I just grew up like loving reading about artists and things of that nature. Never knew that it would lead me into partly my dad was a sign pioneer here in Charlotte. He was one of the first black men to own a sign company. So like when you see businesses with the signs on front of that business or lettering on the windows and things of that nature, my dad did that. There was a time when I drove through Charlotte when I was in high school and growing up where I could go to I could ride down any street in the city of Charlotte and I could see his work.
Oh, man.
So I grew up in the summers working with him. Thought that I was going to take over his business one day, and I always joked that he got on my nerves when I moved back from Atlanta. But the creativity that that was I guess passed down to me, it showed up in other ways. And so now, as someone who owns a PR agency, a digital advertising agency, I got to do some photo shoots with you. I do a lot of photo shoots for clients. My creativity, while I can't paint and freehand draw and all that the way he does, it hit me in that way. And so I'm just a guy from West Boulevard that sees the bigger picture of what Charlotte can be. And so everything that I'm doing right now is dedicated to building a beautiful life for me and my family through my business and my community work.
Okay. So I'm glad that you touched a lot of those bases because obviously I could skip two of those
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
'Cause you
My
answered
bad,
two
my
questions.
bad.
But no,
No,
it's
that's
fine because
amazing,
it just
yeah.
flowed all into it.
Yeah.
But I will have to ask you though. I heard it sounds like your father's a big influence
Yeah.
and role model in your childhood.
Yeah.
So what lessons did that teach you?
So I was blessed to have both parents in the home. My parents have been married. I was asking them last night how long they had been married, and it was like 58 years.
58
I was like,
years.
Jesus, that's a
Gosh,
long time to
that's
be
beautiful.
with anybody, anything for 58 years.
Yeah.
But they got married in their early 20s. They dated while they were in grade school. And so they've known each other their entire lives. And so I always talk about my dad. He taught me how to, like, create a business off of your intellectual property, like what you see in your mind. He helped me understand how to make that come to real life, how to manifest that in real life and build a business around it. My mom, she a G. She grew up, her and her sisters walking to school, fighting every day, and so she worked at Frito Lay most of my life growing up, and so she hard like right now, if I ask her, like, she's like, yo, I got two machetes with she gonna get me for telling y'all that, but my mom just old school, hard nosed woman, who she loves to dress up now. She fly, but she hard, and she taught me how to work hard, bro. Like how to get up every day and get to it and work. And my dad did too, but he's a creative at heart, and so just both of those folks, my folks are totally in me, in my DNA. So when you see me, you see them.
Okay, respect.
Sure.
So was there a pivotal moment in your early life that set you on a path toward entrepreneurship, and as well as community engagement?
I come back to the community piece, but I was born to be an entrepreneur. I was born to be a business owner. My dad, I remember when I was maybe around 7 or 8. We're recording this on a good Sunday afternoon. I remember it was one day after church. You know how your parents, they chilling on a Sunday afternoon. They might be drinking or something, eat some skins or something. If you're from the South,
Yeah.
you know how
Believe that.
I was
With
like,
that mustard and hot sauce, believe that. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Okay,
they was on that
yes.
type of time on one Sunday afternoon, and so I remember my mom had this typewriter, like old school typewriter, the one where you like, ching, and you do all of that. And so I type up a contract that says, I, Jelani Hill, that's my government name, Jelani Hill, will work for Hill Lettering Service, which is my dad's sign business, for like $3.15. It might have been $2.15, something like that. And then I had the little line at the bottom where you sign and everything.
Yeah.
And I was a jit. I was super young. And so I printed that joint out and I took it in the bedroom or whatever. I knocked first. And then I went in there and I gave it to my dad. My mom just busted out laughing. But I admired my dad. I remember having his old briefcase and having it full of paper airplanes, nothing inside, but just carrying it was always something. I remember at my high school graduation, when you go to church and you had graduation Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, Michael Jordan wasn't my hero. My dad was my hero. And so I grew up, like I said, working for him every summer. He never let me work for anybody else, just keeping it a band. He never let me work for any white folks. I couldn't work in fast food. I had to work with him.
That's real.
And so,
That's real, yeah.
And so he showed me how to work. But yeah, he just was always my hero. Like I loved, he was always nice to me. He wasn't one of those dads, or he isn't one of those dads where, how it is where your dad just like on you all the time, fussing at you all the time, like every move you make. He was never like that. Every question I've asked him, he always gave me a sensible answer. So I've always just kind of respected him treating me that way, and I treat my son the same way now. And so anyway, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but I learned from him just to be creative, to be a business person, and that's kind of reflective in everything that I do right now.
And that's awesome, man, because I think every father try to reach down and teach their son that same lesson. And I hope when my son look back on it, he would think that, my dad, he wasn't as tough, but at the same time, he taught me a lot about what he knows.
Yeah.
Because that's just like, that's why I laugh at people that's mad at LeBron James and what he's doing with Bronny. I'm like, isn't that the
But that's
goal
what
to
you're
set
supposed
your
to
kid
do.
up for life?
Right.
Like, why would you want to sit there and watch your child struggle? And it seemed like your father put that in you. And that's very important because a lot of male in our community don't have that influence neither.
Yeah.
So sometimes they have to look to men like us that was taught a value like that to reach back down and teach them that. So I definitely shout out to Senior Hill.
Yeah, Mr. Hill, William Hill Jr. Great William Hill Jr. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but and I'll say this real quick is that like every father, every kid is different. So I don't want to disrespect anyone's way of parenting or raising their children, but he recognized what he needed to do for me. Now he ain't with the what's. Now he like let's not get that twisted.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But the everyday interaction, he wasn't like I tell my son I love him 5 times a day. My dad didn't say I love you all the time. He showed me that though. And so I appreciate the way he understood how to raise me, and I appreciate it because it's reflective in how I treat my son right now.
Respect.
I have a question. As far as the way your mother influenced you, because you harping on the fact that she was a G, that she was really like that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a
Right now,
a level of like protection that she taught you how to protect yourself in a specific way. Can you speak to that as you've grown up in Charlotte, as things have changed, and even as you have become an entrepreneur on your entrepreneur journey, how you protected yourself?
Yeah, and we got to come back to community because you asked me about community. But she taught me, like, listen, we're not playing no disrespect now. We're not doing that. Listen, I'm 5. My wife don't believe me, but I'm 5'5". I don't care what y'all about to say. I'm 5'5". I'm black is all outdoors. But my skin cute though. But she just taught me how to believe in myself, be confident in myself. Don't take any disrespect. Like now, don't go around disrespecting people. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Right.
Was type of energy she was on. But she taught me how to be fly. My mom and dad both can dress and look good. They go to church every week and they gonna stunt when they step out, right? But they're good people. They showed me how to be a good person. So when people say, "Hey man, like you're different from some of the norms and stuff that we see sometimes," like it's because that's how they acted. You know what I'm saying? That's how they treat people. But one of the biggest things is showing me how to take care of myself, how to not be disrespected. I came up in Charlotte, North Carolina, on West Boulevard during a time where it was rough. Yeah. This was the time when people were getting robbed for their starter jackets and like all kinds of stuff. So I navigated all of that. Like I wasn't in a gang or anything like that, but you know how Kendrick Lamar talks about good kid, mad city. Like I feel like that was me to a certain extent. So hopefully I'm answering your question. Yeah. She definitely taught me, you know, if you're going to do anything, work hard at it. My dad told me not to quit anything. If you start something, finish it. But most importantly, make sure that you have people respect you. That's important. And that was always important to her right now and for me and my family. So.
Right.
Did that answer your question?
It does answer my question. In my mind, I want to branch out a little bit more, but I know Boat has a couple more things.
No, we good. We get into it.
All right. So let's get back to that community engagement with you know, the fact of the pivotal moment in your life.
Listen, man, I'm being real honest with y'all. Yeah. Like
that's all we want.
I ain't care nothing about the community. I'm just being very, very honest with y'all. I have been so locked in to trying to figure out how to be successful at business my entire adult life. Like for real. Like I believe that my gift is ideas. I feel like it's a sickness to be an entrepreneur. Like I'm talking about for real. Yeah. Like when you're somebody who you like your whole life, all you think about is how can I start a business? How can I do this successfully? That's how I feel. Like me working in corporate America was like, you know, like kryptonite. Like I felt like it was stifling me. I felt like it was changing who I was at heart, right? And so the average person, or not the average person, people who aren't like that, they feel like that trying to be an entrepreneur. They feel like this is not, like I can't live like this. And so I've gone without a lot to build my career as a business person. And I'm finally, you all are catching me at a moment where I feel like I'm hitting my stride. Yeah. And so when it comes to the community piece, man, for a long time, I didn't think anything about the community. So what happened was this. 2020 happens, and I'm in the pandemic. And for a long time, I did a lot of business outside of Charlotte. So I lived here. My family was here. My parents, my whole family or whatever. Because I don't know if we'll get to this, but I lived in Atlanta for like 10 years. Right. I like to say I was refined in Atlanta. But I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. And so when I got back, I still had clients in Atlanta. In my head, I was still in Atlanta. So I wasn't thinking about Charlotte. I go through a program called Leadership Charlotte. And every question and everything that I didn't understand about Charlotte and why Charlotte is the way that it is, I learned in that 1 year. And what happened was this. I got reconnected to my father's legacy. That's all it took. Oh, wow. It took me understanding like the success that he had in my lifetime that I ignored. You know what I mean? Like somebody can be this close to you and you don't see everything that they are. So as I started making my way around the city, people was like, I know your dad or I know you. And so his favor started to bless me. And so I had more respect for Charlotte because of what he had done here. And I had a responsibility to say I need to do business a certain way because I don't want to mess up his legacy and what he's built, but also I care about how people see me. What is my legacy going to be for my son who's 13 right now? So when he's my age, I wanted him to look back and say, you know what, my dad put it down when he was doing this thing. And that's how I look at my dad. So the community piece for me is now I'm all about West Boulevard because I grew up over there. It's about what am I gonna do if God speaks to me every day about what West Boulevard should look like, and if He's speaking to me, am I not gonna do anything about what can be done there? Am I waiting for somebody to come save West Boulevard or do something on West Boulevard? Am I gonna continue to be mad when I see little Lily walking down the street with her a French poodle, and there's a Starbucks over there? Am I gonna be like? Am I just gonna keep driving by every day, every weekend, or am I gonna do something about it?
Right.
So that's what triggered me. Leadership Charlotte, understanding my dad's legacy, me wanting to have a legacy. That's what made me really engage from a community piece. Sorry, long answer.
That makes a lot of sense.
The answer, though. Especially the piece about being obedient to when God gives you a vision and He speaks to you to move it a certain way.
Yes.
But not just what are you gonna do about it. It's more so like these are the consequences.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're gonna be looking at the neighborhood that your family has such deep roots in for over 100 years.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a completely different landscape, and you are in a position like spiritually to say, all right, what am I gonna do? What's my piece here?
Yeah, and whose fault is that gonna be?
Who is it on?
Yeah, whose fault? Like so in 10 years from now, when it looks totally different, right? And I'm mad that it looks totally different, and my parents' house that they own right now, the taxes is $4,000, $5,000 because a house in that neighborhood that they live in was $160,000 for the last 50 years, but now it's a $800,000 and a $900,000 like house right down the street. Who can I be mad at? I'm gonna be mad at the city of Charlotte?
No.
I gotta be mad at me.
They're doing what they're
what did I do in that moment to say I did something to preserve this neighborhood? I did something to preserve their legacy in this neighborhood. So that's the type of time I'm on right now.
Can you speak to people who are currently, on the west side of Charlotte, who feel the way you feel, where they feel like God is speaking to them about what to do about their community? A lot of people do a lot of talking, they do a lot of thinking, a lot of listening. They're like, okay, God, I hear you, but as someone who's jumped into action to actively move their community in a different direction from whence it's already being pulled, can you speak to them about what was the tipping point for you, so that maybe they can figure out what's their tipping point and be a part of that push also?
So let's keep it real with ourselves. Yeah. I'm gonna keep it real with myself.
As you should.
I was somebody again. So we go. One thing I felt like I was doing right. So our son is 13 right now. Since the day he was born, every weekend we go see my parents as much as possible. So and I never understood that when you see your uncles will go over your grandmama's house and stuff. You're like, why they always over here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but my parents are 80 years old now.
Oh, wow.
And so my son is 13. And so now they're having conversations about, man, he's going to graduate. Like, we hope we hear, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so driving over there, I could see it just slowly changing all the time. And I would see developments and like, I don't know what that is. Like, who's building that?
Right.
Like, what's behind that? What's that going to be? Like, and I started to say to myself, like, I should know though, right? Like my mom and daddy live right there. I don't know what's gonna be across the street from them. Right. And so that was a tipping point for me. I just felt like I should be informed. But here's the thing I really want to say is that we have to stop feeling like trying to look at the whole problem and think that whatever idea or whatever we are going to do is going to be the fix-all or the cure-all for everything that needs to be fixed. We have to start understanding that we are just one piece of a big puzzle.
Right.
But if I don't do my part, you don't do your part, you don't do your part, your children don't do their part, my business partner over here doesn't do his part, then it's not going to get fixed. But if you see me getting to it, you like, you know what? Jay Hill, my boy. I rock with Jay Hill. Jay Hill having a cleanup day, I'm going to support. Oh, Jay Hill needs some video support for this. I'm going to help him because I can give that. So we have to just decide that I'm going to do my part. Right. And it's okay that my part is just this much. I'm doing my part. And some people, last thing I'll say on this is that some people feel like their part is, well, I ain't shooting nobody over here. Right. I didn't steal from the store. And you know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, dog.
Don't do it.
I appreciate it. But okay, fine. All right. Now can you do your step, your next step? Like, can you just do that part?
Right. Can you clean up a corner?
Can you clean up a corner? Can you take care of your corner?
Right. Can you find an elderly person to cut their
Can you take care of? Can you support one person?
One person, one time.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I can easily say I'm going over here. All I care about is my mom and my daddy.
Easily.
And go home.
Especially when you ain't getting nothing in return.
That's right.
You know, and I think a lot of people have that mentality too, though.
Yes.
Is that what I like to call it is not my problem, or what we said in the healthcare field as FSP's first shift problem. You know what I mean? Because just like, you know, like you said, everybody wants to be Michael Jordan, but nobody wants to be Dennis Rodman.
That's right.
Nobody wants to be the Scottie Pippen, the cleanup crew. Everybody want to be the ones that can get scored. And that's not how you get together and clean.
Can I tell y'all a cool thing though?
Yeah.
To your question. So our son, Lil J, had a school project, and he's heard me talk about all this community stuff just over the past year and a half. This ain't been long. That's why I was like, bro, I promise it ain't been a long time. So for his school project, him and his best friend and his best friend's little sister, they decide that they want to clean up Behringer Woods, which is where his grandparents live, right? And there's a dead end street that when I was a kid, I used to walk through the path to go to the store. You know how you used to go to the store?
Definitely.
That dead end street had not been cleaned up in over 10 years. There was a dirt half a foot high. There was vines that grew from one side of the street into the dirt across the street to a yard across the street.
Oh, man.
And we went out there, and guess what happened? Because of his idea, his best friend jumped in. His best friend's sister jumped in. Beautiful. Shout out to the Ballots. Their parents jumped in. My mom and dad jumped in. The neighborhood jumped in. And now there's this beautiful street that I remember that I ain't seen the bottom of in over a decade because of one person said, I want to do something about that. And that's how we got to look at, to your question, like that's how we got to look at this. Let me just do my part and everything else will fall in place.
I want to say, too, from a parental perspective, when you said just one person's idea, because, you know, it was his idea for his project, but I think if you weren't the type to have that type of relationship, or your parents weren't the type of parents where you could even keep a relationship with them, that you would be over there as many weekends as possible.
That's right.
So now he sees that neighborhood the way you see that neighborhood.
Right.
That's something I feel also that can be passed down.
So you know his children, your grandchildren going to be on that same page.
Yeah.
He's going to sit there and tell them that story. Like, you know what? My dad, my grandparents, they're on this street, so I wanted to help do something with them. And what you're teaching is a forever lesson that continue to refill down throughout the family history.
Thank you.
So let's change the little narrative for a second, because I definitely want to get back into your Atlanta days.
I want to hear. This is Atlanta in the wind, the 90s?
This 96 to 06.
Oh, wow. So you hold a degree in marketing and management from the DeKalb Technical College. Thank y'all. How does your educational journey and the professors influence your career path during your time there?
So, yeah, I thought I was going to go, like, I knew something was going to be different. Like, so I was sitting there, like, I had a gap year before I knew what a gap year was. And so I worked with my dad again for that whole year after high school. And I'm sitting there one day watching TV, and that DeVry commercial come on. I'm like, it's in Atlanta? I don't know. As I called him and said, hey, what you need to get in your school?
Said, Atlanta.
These requirements don't seem like it. I do. All right. So the recruiter come out, and he's like, yeah, you can go and everything. So we plan to go. This is the year of the Olympics in 1996.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't get to go while the Olympics were there, but like soon as it was over, I was there. So we go down there, and man, what'd you ask me about Atlanta? Because I got a world of things I need to know.
We're concentrating on your college.
School.
Not the Freaknik days.
Not the Freaknik now.
I saw all of that. I saw all of that.
I know you passed the Freaknik.
Yeah, no, I was there. I was there.
And I was like, I was watching it on Hulu the other night. I said, it's my boy. That ain't the deal.
That was me. I don't think it was me.
You made the documentary.
I ain't signed no waivers, so I said I've been there. But as far as education, shout out to Mr. Allen. There was a professor. He worked at Lockheed Martin. He was the first person I heard him say that he had signed a $1 million check.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
Wow.
And so, like, shout out to my dad. Like, I love my dad, but he ain't never say nothing about signing no $1 million check in his business, right? And this wasn't his business, my professor's business, but he just gave me this. I don't know. I can't explain, y'all. I'm just a big company guy. Like, I remember when I had a magazine, I wanted a national magazine. When I first had my agency, I wanted a national agency. And so just to hear him talk about all of the projects and stuff, now Lockheed Martin, they worked with airplanes and stuff like that. I didn't want to do that. But just hearing him talk about business at that level, I've always had a passion for business. I remember reading books by Brian Tracy, like the first day that I went to the library at DeVry. I remember reading books, Think and Grow Rich, not the original one by Napoleon Hill, but Dennis Kimbrough had a black version called Think and Grow Rich, The Black Choice. Like, those are the very first books. You never read it?
No.
Please read it.
I definitely will.
Yeah, so those were the two of the first books that I read, like, as soon as I hit Atlanta. And so for me, Atlanta just has this spirit about it, man. And it's hard to explain unless you've lived there. But the spirit of Atlanta was not just when I was in school. It was, man, what I learned outside of those walls of school, man. Like, I saw people, whatever idea that they had, if they had a show that they wanted to put together, they was doing it, and they was dedicated to it all day long. Like, they lived and breathed whatever idea, and that's why I didn't want to leave. Like, that, it felt like it was charging me up every day. Like, it was my energy source. And so when I came back to Charlotte and that wasn't the case, like, that was difficult for me, and we'll talk about that later. How I decided that I needed to be the source instead of looking for the source. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like Atlanta had a lot of that potential. And for those who's watching has never really experienced that culture that Mr. Hill is talking about, I went down there unionizing. And like the force behind the people that was just fed up with making minimum wage, it was like as soon as we got down there, I got like 3 people fired up. Next thing you know, I look up, it's at least 500 behind us, marching to these people restaurants saying like demanding more pay. And that right there was the day I learned that all it takes is for the right person to be at the right place, and you can get a movement started down there. Sure. And that's what I mentioned. One of the things somebody down there told me, and I never forget that. There's no way that I'm gonna let a crackhead outwork me today.
I've heard that,
Wow.
Because he was like, you think your crackheads walk around and just beg for money all day?
Right.
They were like, they'll get some cans in a second, and before the end of the day, they fix is done.
Yeah.
And that let me know right there that city is just full of hustlers. And I will say that either you guys.
Honestly, I mean, I've heard versions of the crackhead theory in a sense.
Yeah.
I guess you
they need to put that on the billboard.
Addiction is not cool, guys.
Welcome to Atlanta. Even our crackheads.
we are not making light of a crack addiction. However, if you are around people that, you know what I'm saying, you understand that to be out there every day and to afford that, it's a lot you got to do it, and literally nothing.
And they definitely don't get it sitting on the couch
anybody's
crying,
detriment stops them.
Oh man, I wish somebody.
Right, they don't care what anybody thinks about them.
And nothing is close. Nothing is close
at all.
Nothing is close. Like it ain't like you were just walking down the street. Like you going somewhere.
Facts. Yeah. Facts. Unless you downtown, and then I hate people that drive downtown Atlanta. Yeah. I know the segment ain't about Atlanta, but you just put it in my spirit.
Yeah, traffic is tough.
Y'all need to get y'all shit together on the road down there. There's no need for us to be feeling like we in NASCAR every time I go down there. And then you want to drive your fancy cars like they all get together.
Yeah. You're passionate about that.
Traffic is bad.
Traffic is terrible.
My bad. I ain't mean to. I hate you.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, my. So, now I have my set of questions here for you. Turn your attention to the great.
Don't be singling
just
me
for 2
out.
seconds,
okay.
if I could borrow your.
I'll be right back.
That'll work. I'm over here. I'm gonna knit me a sweater for 2026 while this going on, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh! All right, so I would like to know. You are known as a community connector.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
You know, you talked about community being like a recent thing, but connecting the community and having ideas about connecting for a hot minute.
Right.
You know,
I received that
for sure. Mm-hmm. What sparked your passion for bringing people together in Charlotte?
First of all, because I'm not a hater.
Ooh, I heard it was a lot of hateration in this dancery up in Charlotte.
Yeah. But you know what I've learned is that's happening. A lot of, I mentioned Leadership Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So here's the problem. Here's what happened. the city of Charlotte was built on separating folks. There's this thing called a crescent and a wedge in the city of Charlotte. So where you have the crescent, where if I may have this inverse, but one part of it is where all the affluent people stay, and then there was this wedge that kind of is in the middle, where it's all the folks that may have lived where I lived or where I grew up. That's where they live, and because of some of the decisions that were made earlier on, like from the very beginning, that have impacted everyone from my parents who are 80 years old, like I mentioned, to now, that a lot of this stuff still permeates from what happened a long time ago. Charlotte is a small city. It's a big town. It's really a small city. And so what's happened is there is a time where this city was run by like 5 white men. And they were rich, and they could decide, hey, I think I want a building right here. Okay, let's build it, right? And so what happened is now that went from like 5 to 7 white men who ran Charlotte to now it's 20 people.
I was gonna say, how's that landscape changed at all? Have we
diversified? Some of that is folks, their descendants, right? And other folks who have jockeying for that space. And I'm not scared to say this. I'm very unapologetic about a couple of things. Number one being that I believe if Charlotte wants to take its next step, if Charlotte wants to be the city that it can be, we have to let go of some of this power structure that has been in place for a long time. There are 100 people moving to Charlotte today. So today, Sunday, there are 100 people. They just got to town.
I've heard that.
No, and that's real. That's in all of the numbers, all of the data. Now, what people don't talk about as well is that it's about approximately 30 to 40 people leave Charlotte every day.
I can see
because
that.
there's a national. The other thing too, there's a national narrative of what Charlotte is, as far as it's one of the fastest growing cities in the country. That's true. It's a great place to raise your family. That's true. It's clean and beautiful. All of that's true. But they don't know about these things that we're talking about right now, where it lets you know somebody, unless someone edifies you, or I can't get to Travis unless you introduce me, and Travis like, all right, now I take your call. Like some of that stuff has been going on since the beginning of time here in Charlotte. I think because there's so many people moving to Charlotte, some of that hopefully will change. And so for me, I just think that, I know you're going to ask about the power mixer, but I think for me, what's important is that we have to not allow that way of thinking to continue to drive how Charlotte grows in the future. And so, not sure if I'm answering your question, but that was something that's been on my
I would like to say, I know you're supposed to be looking at my luxurious co-host over there, but
well, I didn't know you were here, bro.
Okay, I'm a ghost in the wall.
A little bit,
I would like to just pinpoint that's just not a Charlotte thing, either, though.
Yeah,
even in small towns, it seems like I have to sit here and go through 3 people just to get a yes about them cheeseburger.
Right.
Because I want to make it my way. Now I got to go through 3 different people, and it's just like I don't see a lot of, like, for instance, like when me and my co-host Keandra met you, it wasn't that I had to go through Bobby, had to go through the people that was hosting the podcast to get to you. You extended yourself like, hey, whatever y'all need, get at me, but just make sure it makes sense. Don't waste my time.
Right, and that's the energy. That was a proper energy.
I didn't say don't waste my time.
He didn't say those words exactly, but it's more or less like, yo, you know what I mean? Whatever y'all trying to do, just reach out to me. Here's my number, but don't waste my damn time.
Right.
But as a business person, we have to respect that, because I can be like, hey Jay, man, listen, man, I got lost on 77. Which way you say the Whataburger again, bro? You know what I mean? You're going to look at your phone like, bro, get the fuck out my phone.
Use GPS.
But it's like, I would like to say I'm grateful you touched bases on that, though, because a lot of these middlemen stop good things from happening because they didn't think of that idea.
Yes.
Yeah, and, I think that's just, you asked me the question, why am I that way? I didn't realize that I was doing that for so long until I brought the power mixer back. And people came up to me afterwards and said, you know what, man, how did you meet this person? They said, because of Jay Hill. Or Jay Hill did this for me and he didn't charge me anything. Or, like, I didn't know that I had built a reputation of connecting people. And then what happened was now I've decided to lean into it because I believe it's a part of my calling.
Right. And I love. First of all, if you haven't attended a Power Mixer, let's make sure you get to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What y'all sleeping on?
Yeah, you're definitely sleeping on. You probably you're sitting at home, you're sitting on the couch, you're not doing nothing.
Man, I want to come on out to the
you
mixer.
might as well come on out to the Power
To the
Mixer
Power Mixer.
for sure.
Yeah.
Because when Travis and I showed up, we weren't sure what we were walking into, but once we got in the room, the warmth, the welcoming, the community feel.
Wow.
People, you didn't have to walk up to people because they were going to walk up to you. So all my introvert people who might be thinking about it, yes, you're going to have to be prepared for people to literally walk up to you and welcome you and say hello and ask who you are and ask what do you do. And they're openly ready to do business. Like the energy in that room was so powerful. And not just that, we ended up recording a podcast from multiple podcasters that were in there in a room. Like he's created so many spaces. I've made so many wonderful connections in that Power Mixer.
And I like to say from that day, we have gotten a couple of guests to come on our show from there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, we have.
Wow.
So, it's not like we go in there and don't fish nothing come up out of it.
Yeah.
Because everybody is so welcoming there and they educate you. I have yet to meet anybody at your mixers that try to belittle you.
Wow.
I will, because I knew nothing about the Blink card until I went. And I forgot the gentleman's name, but he was like, "Yeah, bro, just download this right here. And you will never need a card another day in your life."
Yes.
Let me tell you something. I'll be at grocery stores promoting my
He
show.
does. He loves that. He loves that Blink card.
Well, he got everything on there. And so, like, when I take it back to these small towns who don't have the opportunity to know about the J Hills mixers, their eyes be so wide because it's like, yo, how did you learn all this?
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll be like, yo, this is my boy right here. Go to his Instagram page. He having one tomorrow. Boy, you need to be down there.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like now I don't mind being that advocate for it because I see what happens every time he goes in there.
I appreciate
But that comes from you, though. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Because I watch how you move. Like when you come in there, I swear to you, he'll dap you up. Show you love. But hey, how you supposed to such and such? Hey, come here for a second.
I'm out.
And then my boy, then you look up, he gone. But you done had that conversation and build a rapport with that person that you introduced him to.
Yeah.
That you don't even mind that you done dipped out somewhere because we're not connecting us with no dummy or no wannabe. You know what I mean?
For sure.
The love is so genuine. So I love
awesome.
it.
Man, the word that really struck me is that you said the first word you used was warmth. Like, man, like that.
That's how it felt. It didn't feel like you were walking into a room where, because there are a lot of people, me included, who deal with imposter syndrome. Always feeling like no matter what, you're not prepared and you're not welcome in the room. You're not supposed to be in the room, and that's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It genuinely is a lie for pretty much everyone involved. However, when you walked into the room, it felt like you were coming into, I mean, of course you don't know these people, but you didn't feel so far away from these people.
Wow.
That was everybody. Literally every hand I shook, every connection I made, it didn't feel like I had to be like, "Hi, I'm Key Marie. I'm the co-host of The Block." And I had to like, because if I mess up, you're not going to want to work with me. You know what I'm saying? It felt very much like, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, good to meet you. Well, hello, everybody. Oh, my gosh. And yes, let's work together." And it just, oh, my God.
Man, that's awesome.
Oh,
Let's get to the power mixer.
Yeah, let's get to the power mixer. Let's do it.
What's your question?
All right, so I would like to know about the journey to the power mixer. Like, where did you get that vision from, and what you did to carry it out? I feel like a lot of times people have their vision, and like I said before, it's just a vision.
All right, so let's walk through this slow.
Yes.
All right, because I think this is really, really important. All right, so number one, I don't know if I think I told you this. Y'all are so professional. They did like a pre-production and all this kind of stuff. They asked me questions, but I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a pre-production, which is this is the third iteration of the Power Mixer. So the Power Mixer, I started when I lived in Atlanta. I had a magazine called Atlanta Fever Magazine. And I just had the idea. I felt like I had the idea to start this networking event. And it was the same concept, a lot of the same concept. We gave away gift bags. It was a free event to attend. Back then, you had to send out emails primarily to get people to come. I think I might have texted people, but I think it was the one where you had to like A, B, C.
Oh, the T9 text.
So it takes you like 30 minutes to text somebody.
That's very niche.
Yeah. And so this easily was in like 2004-ish, somewhere back in there. And so I did the Power Mixer in Atlanta, and then when I moved back to Charlotte in 2006, I started another publication by the name of Celebrity Power. And so Celebrity Power magazine was about business and philanthropy, and so it fit really well to have the Power Mixer again. So I did it again. Same concept, free giveaways, networking, net weaving, all that stuff was going on. And so, I know I don't look it, but man, that was 14 years ago. That was a long time ago. And so I was telling Travis that in January of 2024, I get sick. And I said I wasn't going to tell the story a lot this year because God has brought me really, really a long way. But I was sick. I was in a bed for close to a month. I could barely walk. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I lost like 58 pounds. It was tough. And while I was sitting there, laying in my bed, like God gave me he just was downloading all of this information for me. And I had been through Leadership Charlotte, and we talked about this thing called the Chetty study. So we talked about the crescent and the wedge. But what happened was that the city of Charlotte was ranked 50th out of 50 markets as far as economic mobility. Now, there's a narrative nationally that Charlotte is this wonderful city that you need to move to, and it's 100 people moving here every day. And then they were dead last. We were dead last in economic mobility. And guess who's on the bottom of that? Black men. Right?
Yeah, okay.
And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, I felt like God was saying to me, it's time to bring back the Power Mixer. Now, let me tell y'all this. The guy that you see here right now, a lot of times the West Boulevard and me, we like, I ain't going to do that. I'm too cool for that. I ain't got time for that. I ain't investing my money in that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all of these things would get in the way of me accepting what God was telling me to do. But I promised God, I say, listen, I don't know if y'all ever been sick to a point where you can't do the regular stuff that you do, but I was like, if you just had the old folks say, you just get me about a hymn,
you just let my feet hit the floor, Lord.
I promise I'll do whatever you telling me to do, and that's what happened. As soon as I got up, boom, I hit it, and I came up with the Power Mixer, but this time it wasn't about me. It was about everyone else. It was like, listen, I said, God was like, curate it in a way for the person who's an introvert. When they come in and they don't want to talk to anybody, like, make the experience something that they would enjoy. So when they walk in, they feel welcome. They scared to go talk to people, go introduce them to somebody. They need to promote their business. What if you somebody, like, I don't know about y'all, but I've been there with, bruh, I was doing business on a prayer and a dream, bruh. And I'm talking about
for sure.
Where I'm going to something, or I got a meeting, and when I tell you everything is riding on this, like I understand that. I promise I understand that. I've been there multiple times in my life. And so I wanted it to be where a person coming into that event, I don't care if that's their last business card, they use their last $2 to get there. I wanted them to feel like it was value when they left that event.
And it is.
And I also I want to say this real quick. I wanted it to be where a person who was a CEO of one of the biggest companies in Charlotte felt like it was value for them to be there too.
True.
That's also important.
Those are the two things I wanted. I didn't want this event where, the guy is sitting over there in the corner and, you know what I mean? Like, he's unapproachable. I love you, bro, but you don't got to be here.
Right.
That's the type of time you don't
definitely.
Want.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not ready for this moment yet.
Right.
You right? And that's another thing. I'll say this, and I want to hear your next question. Like, we got to decide what we want this to be. Like, we got to stop waiting on everybody else to tell us what we can have in this city. Like, what are we going to produce and do what we want to do? So that's the type of time.
The goosebumps
I'm telling you, I'm still preach.
Because I love a rebel soul, baby. Listen.
Okay.
I've been a mom since 13, baby. I'm a hellified rebel.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about the block, though. You see what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Like, I never waited on permission. You know what I mean? I was like, if I wait on the next man to push play or record, I never had this show going.
But you know why, Trav? This is something I had to understand. That what God is showing you, what he's showing Key Marie, right? Showing Jay Hill, he's showing us. So we looking for validation for people who don't. God didn't show them what he showed us,
for sure.
and we have to understand that the generation, that first step of the idea that he's showing us is just a glimpse of what it is. So there's no way to calculate what it's going to be and how it's going to manifest into what he wants it to be. So who are we to step on what he's trying to tell us to do? Sure. There's no way to do that. Like we have no idea. I don't know what the Power Mixer is gonna be. but I know what he's shown me, and we had a whole conversation about that. Like what God has shown me, the Power Mix is going to be, still ain't all of what it's going to be. True. And so I say that to say that let's not, my man, I think Zig Ziglar or somebody said this, and he mentioned it, that a lot of us die with our best dreams inside of us.
They say that's the wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard.
Yeah, so it is our duty. It is our responsibility to get out all of our dreams and let nobody step on what we're trying to do. So.
For sure.
I'm sorry to go on.
That's funny you said that, though. I just heard a funny quote because Michael Jackson said this. He said whenever he heard a song, he had to hurry up and write it down because God was going to give it to Prince.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
And I want to listen. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Listen, I had an idea, y'all. I just want to say, if that don't move you, this is real. This happened to me recently. God showed me something that he wanted me specifically to do because I was in a position where I'm still gunning towards entrepreneurship full time. And he gave me this awesome idea. I know nobody is doing this. And literally, y'all, I got to scrolling on TikTok. Mind you, I've already got the name. I got a logo. I'm designing, but I'm taking too much time. I'm overthinking it like crazy instead of just getting to it, which is something, it's my area of opportunity to grow. I kid you not, a couple months ago, I get to scrolling on TikTok in my kitchen, and it's a girl in Charlotte right now. And if she ever sees this, girl, congratulations. Because you better make a lot of money.
God told me first.
You better make a lot of money. And I even come work for you, sis, for real. But she's literally doing that exact thing. And I think it's like an app now, whatever may have you. And I feel bad because I wish I'd have known that because I would have just called it out. I'm definitely going to call it out instead of keep it on playground type.
Asics didn't stop when Nike made the first tennis shoe.
That's
you
true.
See what I'm saying, baby?
That's
Even if somebody else doing it, stay in your lane. Do it the best.
That's true.
Key, what we talking about is obedience.
For sure.
We're talking about obedience. And Michael Jackson was exactly right. Prince was going to get the idea. He was going to get it, and he was going to do it.
I love that.
He was going to do it. But we have to understand that, like, think about it. Do we really think, like, we're all connected?
Yeah.
You know how many times, and that happens all the time, when we
sure.
say, man, I got an idea, and then a few years later, a few months later, you like, I was just thinking about that.
I was just thinking about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
For
and
sure.
I not to get too preachy, but it is Sunday.
All right. Take us to church.
They talk about, and I never really understood this. They talked about, if you look at the story of Mary, the whole, like, from the moment she found out, I am pregnant with Jesus, every step she was obedient. When he said go, she left. They said stay here. They said don't go there. Like, every step of the way, she was obedient. We have to treat our ideas the same way.
For sure.
We have to. That is God trying. He got so much that he want to bless us with that we have to sit back. Like, you know what? If you feeling that urge, like, you know what? Let me get the domain name. Let me start brainstorming. Like, everything that I just thought about early in the morning. Like, let me get it down. Oh, he told me to go ahead and start working on the website. Look, one more thing I want to say: the provision is there before the request. Meaning, like, everything that you need to do whatever the idea is already there before you make the request to God.
Yeah.
So we sit back, and I did this for years, which is, man, I don't have enough money for that.
That's the main.
I ain't got
that's
this.
number one.
I don't have that. I don't
That's
know
number
anybody for this. No, take the first step and keep moving, because everything that you need, it will come to you. He will provide everything for you, especially if it's something that he's telling you to do.
For sure.
Respect.
For sure.
Respect.
There's plenty. I got plenty of testimonies on that. I mean, I just saw something last night where a guy ended up in Canada, and he wanted to do a documentary of some sort on the Supremes, I think it was, on Donna Ross and the Supremes.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to Canada with his last, and he showed up to, I want to say it was a dinner or something like that. Now that's all the money he had, and then he had an $800 deposit the next day.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was able to carry on with the rest of the trip per se. And then when he was on the way back in the airport, the flight got canceled or delayed or canceled, something like that. And he's sitting at the airport bar, because of course they give you a little voucher, a hotel and stuff like that. He said he had a glass of wine. He's eating his dinner, and a lady came, sat beside him. They chatted a little bit. She told him, he told her about the documentary or something like that. And then she goes on about her business. Goes to sit down, calls him over because one of the daughters of one of the Supremes happened to be there. Wow. Or if it was the daughter of Supremes, it was a friend of the daughter of Supremes. But long story short, he got connected exactly where he needed
There's
to be.
no way.
Isn't that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. It's
right.
God. There's
Yeah, no, facts.
Yeah, there's no way for us to calculate how God will move places, people, things, and events to work for your good. That's the other thing that if you really want to know something about me, was this. When I started understanding that whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, or what I thought was a bad thing, it all was working together for my good. If it was a good thing, I'm going the right direction. If it's a bad thing, it's something there that is going to, because that happened, I'm reacting a different way. And because I'm reacting a different way, that's the way he's guiding me back to this way to do something that he wants me to do. So all the challenges and everything that go on every day, let's see it through God's eyes, through his lens. Like, God, what is it that you're trying to get me to see here? You know what I'm trying to do. And he's like, no, I got you. Listen. And so sometimes, last thing I'll say on this is that sometimes the best decision, or what God really has for us, is on the other side of the decision that we don't want to make.
Ooh, every time.
Yes.
Actually, every time. If it's a decision you don't want to make, it's literally because that's that fear stopping you.
Yes.
But it's definitely whatever's on the other side of that decision. It's exactly what God had planned for you in the first place. Just don't take too long to make that decision.
We went to
sure.
the
like,
church
I know.
over here. You want to go back to the
I
trap?
can go all day. Listen,
I
can go all day for sure.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Listen, when good conversation happens, who am I to put a pin into it?
No, seriously.
But because we do have 8 minutes left.
Oh God, Lord, we done talked.
They don't know. We got
Listen,
bonus
let me get through here because there's a couple other good questions.
So
rapid questions.
So
yeah, we can do some rapid fire.
Rapid fire questions.
So I did just kind of touch bases on the last parts of our questions. I figured we can get like 18 through 20 in.
I got you.
So
you could ask 10. I got you. What's up?
I got you. What advice would you give entrepreneurs who are passionate about making a difference but struggle to find their footing?
All the stuff that I didn't do in the beginning. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Just because you have a hard time, you gotta again. Everything that you go through, bumping your head, is going to make you better, right? So the evolution of this show is going to go through things. Don't stop because of the challenges. Find a mentor. There's like the other thing, use AI. All of the stuff that you need, you can just use everything that you can. The other thing, Listen, don't think you know everything. You just jumped off the porch.
Come on now.
And now you think you know everything, dog.
Why you look at you say jump off the porch?
Yeah, you just jumped off the porch. Now you know everything. Like, be humble. A wise man knows that he knows nothing at all.
Yes. Yes.
What's next?
Because sometimes jumping off that porch, you
made it off the porch, dog. Congratulations.
Now what?
Yeah. Now listen.
You sit there like with the Mr. Bean, scratch your head like, what the fuck is this? You jumped off the porch. So, as Charlotte continues to evolve, where do you see opportunities for greater community engagement and economic mobility?
I think I'll say this: that whatever idea you have, just do it. Stop waiting for somebody else to do something. Going back to the same thing.
Yeah.
Whatever idea that you have in your heart, whatever God is showing you to do, if you feel like it's a good idea, you don't have to go to anyone else, the city, the state, or whoever to get them to give you money. Go figure out a way to do it yourself and produce something. And so I think if all of us start getting stuff done and doing what we know what we feel is dope, what you think is cool, what you think is fire, then after a while, there'll be the city will reflect what you want it to be.
Exactly.
So I would say just get it done. Do it. Don't quit waiting on everybody else.
For sure.
That's true. What legacy you hope to leave behind through your work with Brand New Script?
That Jay Hill built the largest agency in the city of Charlotte in the region. That I am one of the best pickleball players in the city of Charlotte.
Mr. Pickleball
himself. Mr. Pickleball Hill.
Yeah.
I think Mr. J have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. We just met a DJ in Winston.
I want to meet him. I want to meet him.
We're gonna connect with
Mr.
him.
DJ in Winston. I'm coming for you, dog. But building a large black-owned agency, and the reason why this is important to me. That shout out to the OGs like Burrell Communications and Universal and all these folks that built these legacy organizations, these legacy marketing and public relations agency. The importance of it is because think about this: if Jay Hill owns a $20 million agency in Charlotte, right? Yeah. And I own a studio where y'all can come in and plug in. Like we're in a great studio. Shout out to Bobby Kearns Productions. But my point is, if like I do a lot of work with Bobby Kearns, right? So if Jay Hill has $1 million contract, guess what Bobby has? It might not be $1 million, but he doing a couple hundred just because I got that level of clientele, right? And so it is important that a black-owned agency is that big and that successful, so that when other folks want to have podcasts, you can call and say, "Hey, we need equipment, we need talent, we need resources to build the idea that y'all have in your head." Like I want the legacy to be that we have a huge organization that impacted black creatives here in Charlotte and in the region as well. That's what I really want our legacy to be.
And that's kind of dope, because I swear to you, last year when me and Keith first did season 3, we literally used to pray and just say, "Hey, we gonna be in Charlotte.
Yes.
We're cracking Charlotte
Immediately.
You know, we're gonna get out of this small town, so we're gonna crack Charlotte."
Yeah.
And so actually having that opportunity is large for us. Like even this opportunity right here, it's large because we never know who that's gonna look at this like, well, we want them down here now.
Yeah.
Like, can you get them on the phone for us? Because I got some people that they can possibly interview themselves.
Yeah.
So I think that's a dope thing.
Yeah.
I think so too.
What's next, man? We got a few more questions. What we got?
No,
I'm trying to stay. What else?
Listen. I told you we could go all day. I definitely just want to thank you though for taking our time to come kick it with the block.
Yeah.
And thank you to Bobby Kearns.
Shout out to Bobby
for providing
Kearns.
space for us
Yeah.
to do this thing here, because the energy has been lovely.
Travis got a few more questions over here though.
I'm like, if Travis wants to keep it, you are willing to stay, I'm gonna do no outro. We can back that outro right on up. You just let me know.
Y'all can do the outro in post.
Okay.
No, I was good. I ain't gonna.
No, you're fine.
That 60-minute upload be tough though.
Yes.
No, it will.
Yes.
60-minute
Yes.
upload is gonna be crazy, and that's how we are though, because we rather, like I said, we rather hear about your journey. We rather have a natural conversation.
Yeah.
These are just here to like guide us to some subject matter.
Anything y'all want to know that I didn't
definitely
answer?
No, because honestly, a lot of these questions
You are
literally
put
did
over.
answer
Okay.
without asking.
Cool.
Because it's like I'm sitting here looking like, okay, you touched Brain Script. Okay, no. You touched about all your stuff across the industry.
ATL, I had a ball. in
Yeah,
Atlanta.
I bet you did.
I had a ball.
Yeah.
We answered that question.
I bet you had a
we
ball
got out of that. We got out of
in
that clean.
96.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to dig deeper.
I'm
but
gonna
I
go watch
promise
that
you I'll watch it.
documentary
You're right.
again. Yeah, I'm gonna go
That's
watch
how
it
first I
again
watched
now.
it, and I
That look
seen
like Jay Hill right
I
there.
seen a foot on the afro and a boo on the forehead. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if I don't know if that was my boy or not.
Allegedly.
It was me.
Like he said, seriously, thank you for stopping in with the block.
Yeah.
So what is next for Mr. Hill?
And when is the next Power Mixer?
Next Power Mixer, May 7th, 2025.
Yes.
Real estate in Charlotte.
Oh, wow.
Location to be disclosed in the month of April. That building a huge agency, that's my number one goal and focus right now. And then I want to take the Power Mixer on the road next year.
Oh,
Awesome.
definitely.
Yeah. That's an exclusive.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't nobody know that. But
now,
y'all.
but
And
now
look,
we
and I'm
know.
sitting here getting happy, like, oh, I know a place.
In my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like, I know a few spots. Immediately.
We saw some venues right now.
Okay, yes.
Well, listen, this has been a great honor to sit down with you. I am Bo, and this has been The Block.
I'm Key Marie. You can find me at O_that's_Key Marie on IG and the Clock app, TikTok. Where can we find you, Mr. J Hill?
It's your boy, Mr. J. Hill, CEO of the Brain Script Agency, curator of the Power Mixer. You can go register for the next Power Mixer at thepowermixerclt.com. You can go to the brainscriptagency.com to see everything with the agency, and look forward to seeing you soon. Yeah.
Awesome.